Hi again. Namaste.
Hi. Namaste. Okay, so we
Yeah.
are going to start all over again.
Yep.
Because we had a previous attempt and the mic wasn't really connected. So we hope that it is now.
Yes.
If you have been following the previous feed and now you're here, let us know if there
Do
is
let
a
us
difference.
know. Okay.
Right? And we are, of course, live in the sacred land of Nepal. We're
Yes.
currently in Pokhara at the start of a very exciting, so far productive but very exhausting second day of our recce trip for
Very
our
exhausting,
soul's
yes.
journey, which is happening in October.
Yes. All right. Anyone there? Okay, who have just rejoined? Do let us know if you can hear us clearly now. All right. Hopefully, all good. Okay. Right. Okay. So we just proceed. First, of course, Joseph needs to say hi to everyone.
Yeah, I just want to say hi to everyone.
All right. Okay, because we are going to do the outlook. Okay, for June. And he mentioned what we do the outlook. He also do the outlook. Microsoft Outlook.
Microsoft Outlook.
All right, Felicia is there.
Yeah, Andrew,
Jen Ho is there. Hi,
Andrew's here.
Andrew.
Felicia says
Shinjo.
all good.
All good.
We also have Jen saying all loud and clear. So I think we're set.
All right,
Very
very
clear.
clear.
The tuning
All right,
is
thank
confirming
you
that
so
as well.
much, okay, for your patience. All right,
Yeah.
so I think we will just in a way like start off with the session and.
Okay.
anything
Joseph,
you
you have
want to
any
say?
messages to share from Nepal?
Yeah, because it's not easy for him to stand like
Yeah.
this, you know. He's like half squatting. 扎緊嘛.
No, I'm all good. So I just want to say hi to everyone from Nepal here and blessings from all the good energies from Nepal. So I leave you guys with
Okay.
the outlook.
All right. Okay. Thanks. Okay. Okay. Jocelyn say yay.
Yay. Okay,
All right.
wonderful. Hi,
Okay.
Agnes.
So
Yes.
yeah, all right. June is here, and officially we in a way enters the Meta Horse today.
Today.
All right, and it's also the first new moon.
It is a
I
new
said the
moon
new moon. Okay, the
also.
first day of the lunar calendar. That is also the first day of the solar calendar.
Correct. Okay.
It means something important.
Very important, right? So, I need to share. I just remember I need to share it on
Oh,
my page.
okay.
Okay, you take the floor for about a minute or two.
Yeah, sure.
Yep.
I can take even up to an hour. No worries. Hi, okay, Agnes there. Okay, hi, okay, and Stuart. Okay, hi, Stuart. Okay, thank you for joining us. As those of you who have just joined us, we are streaming live from Pokhara. Okay, the city of Lake. Okay, in Nepal, the second biggest city. Okay, in Nepal itself. And we are only on the second day, okay, of like in a way grounding energy and doing preparation work for our Sacred Souls journey in October. Okay, I know some of you here, quite a number of you here who are following, okay, will be also with us in October itself. Okay, we are very, very exciting. Okay, as like every positions that we go to ground the energy, right? More information came to us, and we can't wait, okay, to share all of those, okay, with you. But of course, okay, the most important thing is like the months leading up to the Sacred Souls journey, and of course this month itself is very crucial, okay, as Jostin, well, Kong Yu and myself, okay, has already in a way mentioned that today is the first day of the lunar calendar. It's also the first day of the solar calendar, okay.
Right.
It means that this month, okay, the transition between the lunar and the solar calendar in a way happen in a way consecutively.
Right.
Okay.
And that is supremely powerful since we're on that note, right? I just want to share that because it is aligned. Okay, so every time there is an energy alignment, of course, it is a portal. Right. So not only do we have a major portal for May, of which I'll recap a little bit when we get to the next portion. But because June 6th, or rather the start of the solar metal horse month, right, is exactly the same as the new moon. Right, so that's very significant because when we talk about a new moon, it's actually a reset of the lunar energy, right, of which you can say that the yin influence is of course at the lowest, right, for the moon cycle, that is, right? So, and that is coinciding with the blast off of the solar energy, the yang energy, which means that it is very empowered. It is a very activated solar energy, right? And you could expand it as the masculine principle, the active principle, and so on, especially with the onslaught, right? The arrival of very strong fire energy as well.
Yeah, okay, and before that, actually, Xiang Ling says hi, okay. Andrew Teo said, nice hills formation behind. Good observation. Andrew, we're still waiting for you. October.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, So Yuan Siwei. Hi, Shok Yi. Okay, I'm Mr. Lim. Serious right. Okay, thank you for joining us as well. All right. We will start the session off with like I would say as usual. You know that we come out with Facebook Live. We know, okay, it's important for us to share something, and most of the time, in fact, all the time, okay, we do not actually discuss over the contents. Okay, so let Kong Yu in a way starts with the content first. Okay, let he actually in a way like share his outlook about June, the metal horse. Okay, the importance of it. Okay, and how we can maximize its potential. And then later on, I'll be sharing my part as well.
That's
okay,
right.
so yeah.
Yeah, so it is a very yang month, right? Because it is the Geng metal, yang metal horse month. Okay, both was the yang energies overall, right? And of course, the fire now has arrived very strongly. It is starting to enter, and of course, in very, very short period of time, it will be ablaze. It will be basically like how we have discovered in Pokhara, because Kathmandu is cooler, right? Pokhara is like, I think the high was like 30 degrees today, which is still okay, but super bright, sunny. It's sort of like the mark of the start of the metal horse itself, right? Which is fiery, sunny, very active as well.
Yes.
Right? And I just want to take a little back seat before I fully introduce June, that is the metal horse month, to everyone, because May was a very intense month. It exceeded all my expectations and then some. And the highlight, of course, of May was a couple of things. One is, of course, it's the start of the summer season. But because of the configurations, right, if you missed all this information, I urge you to look into the May Outlook, which is on my page, Kong Yu, right, which is shared on the Jessie Lee main public page as well. So take a look at that in case you've missed the updates in the last 1 or 2 months, right? But overall, it was an opportunity for us to create and also to anticipate the upcoming years, right, all the way up to 2029, right? So I won't get into those technicalities. So that was on one perspective, and we also just dedicated a special workshop to be able to have the power to arrange, to be in control of, and to manifest what we want to unfold in the years to come, and also leading up to 2029 as well. Right at the start of the previous month, right, the first day of the Jisi, the Earth Snake month itself. Now, little did I know, I knew that it was not going to be a straightforward, shall we say, path towards what we want to create, and so on and so forth. It was something that came with a lot of, May itself came with a lot of tangibles, right? Earth energy was incredibly strong, in fact, right? The reality, the results, the outcome was one key part of what was shown as we started May and as May unfolded itself, right? That was certainly my experience, and it way exceeded my expectation. So, in other words, there was a yin and yang to things. The yang portion was the exciting potential to take things into our own hands. But the clarity of which we could do so was, you can say, impeded or largely, right, can be obscured by what really transpires, what materializes within the month itself. So that's why overall, what we saw in May was that control, empowerment, and also clarity was very crucial, because while there was a lot of a stack up of both the outcomes of things which were desirable, right, what we see as exciting, what I personally experienced as best of my lives, right, but it also came with a whole bunch of, and a whole stack and pile up of the stagnation, the obstacles and the blockages based on what we have also basically manifested in the past as well. So this, of course, can create an obstruction throughout the month of May in terms of the clarity of the mind and the obstruction towards the path forward in a different way. So whatever that we wanted to create may be blocked by whatever that is really the reality that is out there at that moment. And I'm referring to, of course, the month of May. So that's why leading up to early June, and this is very important, because in early June there's a big shift and transitions in the energy, right? If you look into the overall astrology, Chinese astrology, and overall the planetary positions, which normally, of course, if I am in my home base in KL, I will go through these planetary transitions in my Western astrology portion of the updates as well. But this is, we are traveling right now, we're in Pokhara, it is beautiful here, but I don't have the luxury of being able to share those, what they call transits with you. But a very strong indication of activation of 2026, that's one, which is basically the snake year, which is, of course,
2026.
Yeah, 2025.
Yeah.
Correct. I always jump ahead, right? So an activation of next year, 2025, which is, of course, the snake year, which is, of course, the month that we just finished as well, May, right? So that's why there's a connection there as well. There's the activation that pre-activates 2025 from pretty much early part of June onwards, just this last few days in fact. So there's that potential to basically, you can say, pre-activate next year. So that's one perspective. But overall, because of the other planetary alignments, we see that there is also the big opportunity for us to realign the clarity of period 9 overall. Now, we have just started period 9, yes, but the feel of the past few months, especially the starting of the year, namely the months of February and March of 2024, that's very optimistic. It's like, oh yeah, period 9 is here, you know, this is what I want to achieve. We, of course, programmed a lot of our workshops, our classes, our meditative inner work workshops as well around that theme, right, of what we want to achieve for the whole of period 9. So February and March was very much exciting from that perspective. And then, of course, there was the deep look, the deep analysis, the deep tangibles, obstacles, stagnation, whatever you call it, that came from the month of the dragon onwards, because it's a self-punishment year, you know, happening in the self-punishment month. And then, of course, to the opportunistic but very much so, as how to say, on one perspective is heavy, on one perspective is optimistic, opportunities in May itself, right? And then now we come to June, there is an opportunity for us to adjust, right? Adjust with the optimism of how we started period 9 in the early part of the year, February and March, into the reality that transpired to show us where it is that we have blockages and stagnation, namely in the months of April and May. And now in June, we have the opportunity to do an adjustment, right? So what we're going to see when we go into the June month itself, right, is this search for clarity. Right? So on one perspective, again, there is an excitement due to the spark, and then, of course, the subsequent burning of fire energy, which has already started and will get more intensified as we get, especially to the middle part of the month, right? Around the summer solstice, where fire energy will get to its peak. So there is that, again, that perspective of, wow, you know, finally are coming out of a heavy April, and then a subsequently strong, powerful, but or can be heavy May. We have now an opportunity to just work with, to fire ourselves up literally, right? Now the fire, of course, is coming from the interaction, if you look at it from the Chinese astrology, the yang metal of the yang metal horse interacting with the jia wood, the yang wood, of course, of the dragon year itself. Right? So remember, everything that we read from the month perspective, from the astrology, from the Bazi perspective, right? From a monthly cycle as it unfolds throughout the year, always has to be correlated back to Tai Sui, which is the wood dragon, Jia Chen itself. So we see the yang metal basically chopping, right, the yang wood, so of course that sets fire ablaze, and because we're right in the timing of summer of the year, then this, of course, blazes the fire, right, burns. The fire is able to burn. So this, of course, then uplifts spirits, powers back passion, motivation, excitement, energy overall forward. So that's one perspective. But this very same interaction of the metal chopping wood, of course, what it does, if we look at it from the annual perspective, it is actually stopping, it is chopping, it is obstructing the year's theme. Right? Because remember, the jia wood, the yang wood of the wood dragon is the theme of the year. Right? So that's why when we look at annual activation, annual charts, annual pillar, how it affects our personal parts and so on, right? The theme of the year is predicated by the jia wood, the yang wood. But now the metal is now disrupting it. So temporarily, while we are motivated and the fire is burning and we are more gung-ho, right? These are just generalizations of the fire element. But the clarity of which what we do and the results that we get might not be there, right? So even from the Western planetary alignments perspective, we also see that interaction going on from a different set of explanation, but they coincide. So it is a very exciting period for the next 2 weeks to come for all of us, but we may not see the direct connection to how we have been doing things, right? Especially if we do not have an anchor, a very strong fundamental basis of our goals, our overall targets, and our overall desires for what we want, not only for this short period of this year, next year, but overall for the whole of period 9, because that's what the new transition is all about. And now we're only in the first half of the first year, right? Basically, of period 9, right? So that's why trust is very important, right? If you read the monthly newsletter, which is published every month, right? I title it based on the concepts of trust and also self-belief, right? So if you are anchored down on yourself and what you are basically geared up and excited to do, especially for those of you who have encountered changes and those of you who are making life changes, whether it's from the physical perspective, that means maybe it is something directly related to your work and career, from your emotional world perspective, how you relate to other people, from your personal growth perspective of how you view the world differently and how you want things to change from that viewpoint, that mindset, that perspective for period 9, right? If you are very strongly anchored on it, then just trust that even though the little things that occur and the little whatever that transpires in the next 2 to 3 weeks to come may not be so clear in terms of how they support those new goals, how they basically lead to whatever new that you want to create for the entire period 9 itself. As long as you have trust and as your self-belief, these are very important, because when we get to the middle part of the month, right, where it is summer solstice, where the fire is at its intensity, we also, of course, have the full moon, right, which coincides right around those days. The full moon is on June the 21st. The solstice, depending on which part of the world, if you're in the more western part of the world, then the solstice falls on June 20th, right, with the full moon on the 21st. And the most important thing, right, a very special day that's called Dragon Departing Day. So that coincides with that timing as well, on June 21st to be precise, right? So this is where Jessie will talk more about the Dragon Departing Day, I'm sure, right? This is where, of course, this is our uplift of energy, right? Of course, when we talk about uplift of energy, it is also something that comes, because if you're rising, if energy is ascending, that means there will be the heaviness that is detaching, right? So that's why it's a great vantage point, right, for whatever realizations from whatever occurrences that have happened, especially, I would say, in the month of April and also May, right? You have all these things that you want to discard, right? Whether they are emotions, whether they're negativities, whether it is some sort of stagnation, and so on, right? So the Dragon Departing Day on June 21st is going to be very important, right? It is a mark, it's a milestone where we are then able to, right, release all this heaviness, stagnation, and so on and so forth, right? Detach it so that the energy, right, can rise and can ascend. So that's going to happen around the June 21st, right? So before I hand you to Jessie to talk from her perspective, I just also want to say that this trust and self-belief is going to be very important, right? Again, as a recap, because the next 3 weeks to come, 2 plus to 3 weeks, may not necessarily seem very obvious, right? You may be very caught up in let's say you have a regular permanent job, right, the corporate job, for example, right? You'll be so caught up in it that as you do things, and there is some fire and there is some motivation to get those things done, but whatever that's accomplished and done may not seem like it's directly supporting your goals, your new aligned goals for 2024 and beyond. But trust, and if you have the complete self-belief of alignment to your goals and principles and so on, right, just keep working towards them, right? And you may not necessarily see clear results by the next 2-3 weeks to come, but trust that everything will fall into its place when you get to the end of the Metal Horse month, right? Prior to the Metal Goat itself, that's the July month itself. Okay, so that's going to be overall how best to work with the energies of the month of the Metal Horse. But don't forget, because we have the alignment of the new moon kicking off the solar month today, on June the 6th itself, is a very powerful alignment there. So this is again a portal, right? And when you get to the corresponding full moon, that not only falls on summer solstice, but also with the Dragon Departing Day, that is again marking a very big opportunity, especially when we talk about the release of heaviness, so as the energy can rise and can ascend with the dragon that departs upwards. Right?
Okay. My turn.
Yes.
Okay.
Pass
Right,
you
as
over
you
to
can see,
Jessie.
it's like as
Yep.
he was like talking also, I was like taking some notes and some points, right? Because I find that like some of the things, okay, that Gong Yu actually shared with all of you, also in a way relates to what I'm about to share with all of you, okay, from a different perspective. But at the end of the day, right, we do not do like discussion together whatsoever because we believe, I personally believe that at the end, it gels, it will align, it will make sense because as long as we are in a way looking at it from the perspective of the elements, okay, from the elemental or the planetary perspective, right, everything will gels in the first place, okay. All right, so those of you who have just joined us, okay, we are actually streaming live from Pokhara, okay, in Nepal. And why is this June month is so important? First of all, as you know, we Kong have mentioned it, today marks the first day of the lunar calendar, which is the Choyak, okay, the first day, the new moon. And also in this month itself, right, okay, the lunar calendar and the solar calendar is overlapping each other, okay, it is transiting together, all right, plus minus 1 day, okay, depending on which part of the world we are, okay. So, and you know that as speaking as this, okay, we also see that today is also the first day, okay, transiting into the Meta Horse month, all right, which is also in terms of the solar calendar, right? And this will brings us, okay, to the 21st, okay, of June, plus minus 20th, 21st, depending on where you are, okay. That marks the full moon, okay, of this month itself, and also it coincides, okay, with the summer solstice. At the same time, it is also a dragon departing day. All right. So first of all, we want to look at the probably June itself, Meta Horse from a perspective, okay, of the tidal gua or the tidal hexagram. Right, look at it from the hexagram perspective, because from the Geng Wu, from a heavenly stem and earthly branches perspective, I think Gong Yu has mentioned, things gets very intense. Things just get like stronger, more yang energy is coming up. And yeah, no
Fiery.
doubt, very fiery, very yang, okay, and it's like only picking up because now we only just in a way initiated, okay, the starting of this particular Geng Wu, and it will peak, okay, on the full moon, which is also on the summer solstice. It means that fire energy peaks on summer solstice, right, which is the same day that we will be in a way spending our time in Mount Kailash, okay, doing blessings and rituals, okay, for many of you, okay, who has already signed up for it. All right. Oh, we didn't bring the amulets to show them. All right, probably you give your card to Nicole, and like, or you can also like excuse
Okay,
yourself
yeah.
and go and
All
take
right,
it as well.
yeah.
All right. So now, what is it in this particular Geng Wu? Even though it's like so yang, right? Okay, but one thing from the hexagram, okay, it is telling us that there's something that we might want to pay attention to. Yeah, okay, because from the hexagram, this particular month itself is a hexagram of heaven, wind hexagram, 天風姤. 天風姤 means heaven, wind meeting hexagram. Now, this one you can research about it in Google because we don't have any slides to share with you, all right? So the thing is like heaven, wind, okay, in a way meeting hexagram, okay, what does it mean? Now, this is a hexagram where you have altogether 6 lines, but this is a hexagram that you have 5 yang lines above, and the first line, okay, the lowest line here is a broken line or a yin line, okay? It means that amidst, okay, this particular month itself, the fullest of its yang energy, the highest of its yang energy, okay, where the highest of fire, which is happening, the first yin line is coming into place. It means that as we go along in these 2 weeks, okay, where the energy of fire is peaking, once it's peaked on summer solstice, okay, the next moment it will go into a dip. When it goes into a dip means that, okay, summer solstice means that, okay, this is the longest day, okay, in the entire year, okay, if you are in the northern hemisphere, okay, right? So in a way, it's like the longest day means like the most yang energy in the entire year. So once it reaches that point, it will dip. Whatever goes up to the peak, it will comes down. So this particular hexagram in a way gives us the knowledge or the wisdom to tell us that amidst all the 5 yang lines itself, we have 1 yin line creeping in. What is that yin line creeping in? Now, the yin line creeping in, of course, at the end of the day, there's always a positive side or the negative side. It means it's for us to work on it, for us to make the preparations. And how is it going to affect us? When we have everything so yang, okay, so bright that's going on, chances is we might not pay attention to that small little darkness or the streak of darkness, okay, that is coming into our life. Now, this will manifest it in our life itself, okay, as how to say, a reality, okay, that in the month of June itself, right, our shadow self will start to creep in. right? Whatever that's hidden in darkness, whatever that's in our subconscious, whatever that we are trying to run away, whatever we are refusing to see or refusing to fear, refusing to face it, all right? This month itself, it will start to actually come out, okay? Because the yin line is starting from this month and it will only grow stronger. It will only, in a way, like takes over, because this is the month that transits, that tilt the yin and yang, right? It tilts from the yang to its most yang into yin to its most yin. All right, so that one gives us a clue, okay, to tell us that in this particular month itself, when the yin is slowly creeping in, it means that it's a month that we expect something unexpectedly, okay? Because everything is yang, 5 line is yang, and 1 little yin line is coming in. It's something that coming unexpectedly, something as a shock, something as in like, probably it happens to you, but you have no idea why is it happening. So we have to take this opportunity to look deeper within ourselves, because it's all 6 lines together. Remember, the 6 line from the crown to the root, and from the lowest line itself, it's slowly creeping in its shadow. The fear, the darkness, the unknown, the things that we have chose not to see, not to know, and not to face. So it will start creeping in this particular month itself, okay? In other words, this is the shadows arising. Right, this month marks the shadows arising, okay? The meeting of yin and yang means that before this is all yang, and then now 1 yin comes in, okay? Right, last month is all yang, and now 1 yin comes in. The meeting of yin over all the yang. And if it's not in no way taken care of, this particular point in time is the first step of, how to say, covering us. Is the first step of eventually it will cover us in that shadows of darkness.
Yeah.
Right? So it will be a very good time for us to, in a way, pay more attention to this. What is it that in life that we have been running away, refusing to face, all right? So this month itself, you will see all these things will be coming up to you, okay?
The good thing is that I think in this case, they've been following updates and we've been connecting basically to our energy, right, to our outlooks and everything. So you probably already have felt it, right, ever since last month, in fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you have not, then if you're newer and if you have not really paid attention because you've been too busy and everything, so this is when it is good to have that awareness.
Yeah, okay, so it's very important for us to pay attention to it, because the energy has slowly sipped in. All right, so it will be a moment, as you say, Geng Wu. Geng is like on top, and Wu is like the horse at the bottom. And those of you who know Sparta, you know I always share that Geng is a representation of karmic, and Wu is a self-punishing element. So this month itself, okay, it's a repetitions or a ripening of our karmic, I would say, loop or cycle or energy, whether we are aware of it or not, okay, that it will comes back to haunt us, okay, to in a way like chase after us. So now you have to decide, the thing is, do you want to continue, okay, to run, all right, and stop facing this internal shadow of ourselves or internal demon, whatever you want to call it, or you want to take this opportunity to understand, okay, this is how the energy flows. It is merely in a way sending in some riskiness, some danger, because we say it's like when something is dark or something is broken, it represents danger. But in Chinese, we always say it's like 危機, 危機. Okay, 危機 means that if there's no danger, there will not be any opportunities. So this will be a good time for us to be able to look into, okay, what is the cause of this danger to start off with? Okay, what is the cause of this darkness, this shadow, this fear to start off with? Okay, so it's a good month for us to look into that, to eliminate that. Okay, and one more thing is like just now, okay, Kong Yu did mention, which is very good, that in a way, trust. Trust is very important. And you know that when you have a pillar, it's like a pillar that's self-punishing every one of us with our own karmic seed, whatever that we have seeded before this, okay, and suddenly this particular month itself, starting probably from 2 weeks ago or slightly even longer, because energy gradually comes in. So when it comes in a way to manifest into our reality, the chances is like it will just scare us. It's not easy. It will affect us emotionally. So how do we actually, in a way, prepare ourselves to face the month itself? We just need to ask ourselves, okay, in terms of emotions, have the time to reflect on ourselves, okay, to ask ourselves, okay, having this particular powerful month, okay, ask ourselves, what are the things that we have been judging very intensely, very harshly? All right, or are there any moments that we are avoiding, okay, any issues, people, topics, situations, okay? It's either immediately we jump into that intense judgment, Or immediately we jumps into that avoiding, okay, I'm running away, I'm not facing this. Now this gives us the equations, okay, the tipping point, okay, the importance, okay, of picking up these situations out, okay, because no one can do that self-reflection for us. No one can go into ourselves to pick the shadows out for us, okay. We have to do it. So the first thing is pay attention. What are the things that we have been in a way judging intensely, harshly, okay? What are the things that in a way that like immediately our auto response is like judge, blame, point finger, okay? Or what are the things that immediately we are in a way putting up a front that shield all these things away? We are running away from it, okay? Don't bring this topic to me. I don't want to see this person. I don't want to talk about this anymore, right? Because if these situations happens in your life, okay, pay attention to it and ask yourself, why are we running away from our shadow? Because this month itself is the best time for us to work on a shadow work. Why? Let's see. Yin, okay, which is the moon. Yang, which is the sun. Alright? When the sun and moon is not aligned, we create shadows. Right? Come to think about it, it's like when these two things, the yin and yang, is not aligned, we create shadow. Alright, but now this month, the specialty of the month is the moon transition and the sun transition. Okay, the solar calendar and also the lunar calendar is transiting together. It is moving in alignment, in conjunction, okay, together. It means that, okay, in this particular month is also the best month for those of you who do energy works, shadow work, spiritual work, whatever you want to call it, like, how to say, self-improvement work, okay? All right, so this is the best month for us to work on it because it's the easiest month for us to see those shadow self, because this month basically there's no shadow, okay, right? Because two of the sun and moon is moving together. Yep. And always remember, okay, this shadow self itself, okay, in a way is a contrast or opposite of each other, okay. Example, okay, fear is a shadow of trust, all right, and then hate, example, is a shadow of love. All right, so whenever in a way, okay, we are fearful of something, we are afraid that we couldn't, like, in a way, get something done. We are afraid that we cannot take certain position. We are afraid that we cannot do a business on our own. We are afraid that we cannot, in a way, like, stand on our own and be independent. Like, we are afraid that our children or afraid of them or worry about them. Worry is a form of afraid, okay? We are fearful. So all these things is just merely because we do not have trust. We don't have trust of ourselves. We do not have trust of our husband or our partner, our loved ones, our friends, our children, and everyone around us, okay? So always remember this month itself, okay, is the best month for us to look into that. Then the next thing is like, then why Mount Kailash? Okay, why the team choose this month to go to Mount Kailash? Again, because there's no shadow. It's the best time for us to look into the darkness, to find the whatever, in a way, like darkness or shadows that is arising, that's been aroused, okay, this particular month itself, okay, to hold on to the seed of it, dissolve it. Remember, the yin in a way will rise, okay, but when the yin rise in this month itself, we still have the 5 yang line containing it, right? How to say, suppressing it, okay? So this is still the time where the light overcomes the shadow, the light overcomes the darkness. So we allow the darkness to come out, but there are still enough of light for us to, in a way, shines upon it for clarity, for us to see clearer, okay? All right, and then in a way, rectify it and work on it. All right, and also, okay, as Kong has also mentioned, not that the full moon, not only that the full moon is transiting on the 20th of June or 21st of June, depending on where you are, okay, right? We also have the summer solstice, which is representing the solar calendar. That also marks, okay, on the 21st of June, the dragon departing day. Now, I've been talking about the dragon departing day for at least like how many years? 2 years? Okay, right? Because in period 9, we need to pay attention to the dragon departing day, especially this year, which is a dragon year. And you heard my annual talk, I talk about this is the dragon gate year, right? The dragon gate where the cups, the golden cups, the magic cups are able or not to jump over the dragon gate to turn themselves into the dragon. The mystical, powerful dragon itself depends on this year in this powerful, I would say, first year of period 9, okay, in a, how to say, in the influence of the Grand Centurion portal reset, right? And if you see into it and you do date selections, okay, you will see that the dragon departing day varies in every year. Right, last year, okay, it is not on the summer solstice. I've just checked back.
It
Okay,
was
last
in
year,
May, wasn't it?
no, it was in June.
Was
It's
it early
definitely
June?
it was definitely after summer solstice, which
Oh,
is
after.
normally 20th or 21st of June. Right, but last year falls on the 27th of June. Okay, some of you join us in TTDI. We do a dragon departing workshop, experiential workshop. Now, but this year it falls exactly on the transition day. Now, how do we see a dragon departing day? Now, it is the first fire dragon or Ping Chen day after, okay, the summer solstice. So on the summer solstice itself, okay, on the 21st of June, okay, and you have to see, all right, the first Ping Chen or the first fire dragon day that appears, that day will be a dragon departing day. Right, so every year it will come probably like 5 days later, or in a way like probably 7 days later, a week later or more.
10
okay,
days,
right, or it can be 10 or even up to 11 days. Okay, but this year it falls on the same day. All right. Now, when you do astrology and metaphysics, when you do date selections and all these things, these are the minor small details that you have to look into your calculation. All right, because this is not something that you will get all the time. Okay, right? You try to find a full moon, a summer solstice together with a dragon departing day. All right, on the dragon gates year. Okay, right? For all these things to fall in alignment of the first year of period 9. This is almost not happening. Okay, so always remember, either you're reading it from the heaven branch perspective of a pillar parter, Geng Wu, or you're reading it from a hexagram perspective, or you're reading it from the date selection perspective of the stars alignment. Everything falls into the same, I would say, conclusion. Everything also falls into the same meaning. All right, so always remember, in this life itself, all we attract, okay, everything that we attract is a reflection of our life. So pay attention, pay more attention, okay, to your life right now, of everything that in a way either triggers you to judge intensely or to avoid intensely. Right? Emotional in a way, uphealing over it, in a way you're affected, okay, highly over it, because this is merely a time where this shadow self of you are in a way creeping out to allow you to go through into that full purifications. How to bring the shadow into the light, how to bring the darkness into the light. And this is the best particular month to do so. Okay, that's why we want to, in a way, use this opportunity, okay, to bring, okay, the amulets, okay, that we have actually in a way prepared. Okay, now I actually in a way prepared this all colorful, okay, and this is in a way, I mean, I'm not in a way doing it for like whatever Buddhas or whatsoever, okay, but this is somehow, okay, when we source for this is the goddess of light, okay, and it all comes, okay, in many different like colors, okay, almost like every one of them comes in different colors, right? You might not be able to see here, but it's very beautiful. And we are going to bring, okay, this, okay, amulets itself, okay. We have, I think, 200, okay, right, or slightly over 200, okay, because some of it are reserved, okay, for our personal team members and families as well, okay, and like most of it has been taken. I think we have probably about like 40 plus, okay, right, we have not really counted, but I will really in a way call out to you, okay. This is like what we are selling it for 98, all right, with the amulet. If you do not want the amulet, free delivery in Malaysia and Singapore. If it's overseas, okay, like, I mean, then it will be expensive, because delivery, we have checked, right, okay, depending on where you are, it ranges about 150 ringgit to 300 ringgit. Now, if you cannot get the amulet because it's off your budget, okay, just go for the wishing, okay, just in a way, there's a link, okay, that's been shared to you. Now, the cutoff line date will be the 9th of June, okay, because that is the day that we will, in a way, be preparing to get ourselves to Tibet, Lhasa, okay. So, and you know, once we are at Lhasa, it's still okay. We have to do all the preparation work, because once we travel from the East Tibet into the West Tibet, where Mount Kailash is, okay, there will be limited line, okay, so we do not want to take the risk. So 9th of June will be the cutoff date. I really hope that in a way you can subscribe to this, okay, this amulet itself, you can wear it as a pendant, you can hang in your car, okay, put it in your wallet, right, place in your drawer, okay, so this is an amulet, or you want to actually in a way place in your work desk or whatever. This is a protection of light, of wisdom, of clarity.